Welcome to Beyond Bridge, the podcast where courage meets community. We shine a light on the stories, science, and support that define the breast cancer journey. From survivors and thrivers to doctors and advocates, we're here to share real conversations, expert insights, and the hope that carries us forward. Whether you're newly diagnosed, a lifelong fighter, or walking alongside someone you love, this is your space, your voice, and your story. Welcome to Beyond Bridge. In this episode, we will be talking to Phyllis Stewart, who is a two-time thriver and survivor with triple-negative breast cancer. All right, Phyllis, so you were diagnosed in 2021 and 2022, and you told me it was 9 months apart. So share with our audience your personal journey with breast cancer.
Sure. And thank you for having me. So I was diagnosed in March of 2021, and we don't have any evidence of breast cancer in my family. My family, they live and die through longevity, meaning like I had a grandmother that passed away from at 108, 102. So we have longevity in our family. The breast cancer was definitely not it. So I was the first, and I was determined to definitely be the last. And in that, it was caught very early. I went at a mammogram that I had kind of put off because it was during the time of COVID. So I kind of put it off, and then I was able to get the appointment. And one of the nurses said, "You should do a 3D," and I said, "Okay." I mean, I didn't know the difference. I just said, "Okay, 3D, whatever, 2D, whatever." And what ended up happening was they said, "Listen, we need to see you again," and so I complied with that, and then it turned into, let's do a biopsy, let's do the next step, and then I was diagnosed with the triple negative breast cancer. And I will say in the very beginning, our outlook was, let's talk to our family, let's talk to the kids, let's make sure the kids know. So, we did that and talking to them individually so that they can be aware of what was going on. And we decided to do a double mastectomy.
Now, when you say we,
my husband
your
and
husband,
I apologize.
A big support, right?
Big support. My husband and our oldest was a big support during this. My family as well, they all rallied together and made sure that I had the support that I needed. And we still do it to this day, where we have every Monday we have a prayer call. And so, we get on a prayer call on Mondays and talk about different things that we pray for. But then also, if you have someone that you want to bring to the prayer call that might be going through something, then we can add their name. So my aunt is the spearhead of that, and I'm so grateful.
Okay, so you were diagnosed in 2021 and 2022.
Mm-hmm.
You get this diagnosis, you've got triple negative breast cancer 2 times.
Right.
What was the treatment like?
So in the beginning, like I said, I had for the first one, I had a double mastectomy. Then I went through 6 rounds of chemo, 6 rounds of chemo. I rang the bell. That was it. They didn't say anything else. They just said, "We'll monitor you for the next 5 years, blah, blah, blah." But then 9 months later, I felt a lump in the middle of the night out of nowhere. So in the beginning of that, the doctor was kind of like, "Oh, it's probably necrosis. It's probably a fat buildup." And I just kept saying to myself, something is wrong. So I went and got 4 opinions. One from Cleveland. I got a Jewish doctor. I got a female. I got like 4 people, 4 different types of people.
Did you get different?
No,
everything.
Everyone, they were like, "Let's see your tissues." They looked through my tissues to make sure, and I had a more aggressive form. Now, remember, I said I had a double mastectomy, so in my mind, I'm like, how did I get this again? right after I rang that bell. So I had to do treatment every week, and that was brutal. It was brutal, but my outcome or my outlook on it was favorable in terms of my mindset, my positivity, my support from my husband, my support from the kids, the family. So it
Hold
made
on just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
You have mentioned twice ring the bell. What does that mean, and why is that significant? Tell our audience about that.
So ring the bell. After you finish your chemo treatments, they ask you to ring the bell. So, because it was my first time ringing the bell, it was, that form of, hey, you've completed this. You don't have to come back. So the second time when I was, when all the evidence was gone, and it was undetectable after I had gone through the brutal treatment, I didn't ring the bell the second time. And the reason why is because I didn't want it to give me a false sense of completion. I said in my mind and in my spirit, I was completed. So I chose, or my family chose to not ring the bell.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, you had mentioned your mental space, your emotional space. Share with us about that.
My emotional space was up and down. So in the beginning, when I first was diagnosed, and I had the double mastectomy. Now, you're losing these body parts. I did not know that I was going to have a depression or feel a depression from losing breast. But it's just the same as if someone lost a limb, a leg, an arm. It's the same feeling. You don't, even though I had a reconstruction the same day, so I still was looking at breast, but it was not the same. So I was grieving not having the body parts that I was born with. The other thing was, because it came back so quickly, I was suffering internally from depression, because I did not know that if I went to sleep, was it going to come back? If I woke up, was I going to feel a breast? So constantly I'm feeling my left breast all day, every day. And, so I go to therapy for that. I took acupuncture. I take all of these different things. I'm getting ready to do Tai Chi and some other stuff. So
did you talk to someone to talk out your feelings? You're talking about physical things that you did. Mm-hmm. So what about talking it out? Did you talk it out with somebody?
Yes, that is very important. I think it's extremely important for women that go through it, go through breast cancer, whether it's once, twice, or whatever. I think they should go through and talk to a therapist. And in me talking to the therapist, it helped me to navigate stress, because I was holding in stress and not sleeping. And of course, if I'm not sleeping, then that means I'm tired during the day. And then, of course, with the medications and it triggering your memory not being as strong as it used to, I was having issues with that, not being able to complete certain things because my memory wasn't that good. So that gave me a scare, because I felt maybe I was going through Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that.
So you weren't able to complete simple tasks?
Simple tasks. So how I combated that was through therapy, and then also to just to decompress. My husband and I, we would go out for a walk and just get one with nature, listen to the birds, talk to each other about whatever. And I started to travel more. We started to do that.
So life changed.
Life definitely changed. It is not the way it used to be.
So we talked a little bit about before breast cancer. Now, after, what is your life like now?
Oh, man, my life is wonderful.
So we're not surviving anymore. We are thriving?
Thriving.
Okay, and what does that look like?
Definitely thriving. And so what that looks like now is that, again, traveling and just really seeing life a whole lot different than what it was for me, where I was a workaholic. I mean, I poured so much into my work. Now, I give them the amount of hours that I need to give my job. It's not that I don't love my job. I love what I do. But I wanted to make sure that I took time for me and for family, because I gave so much of my life to work of what I did. So
would different perspective be in order here?
absolutely. I just look, it's a different perspective of what I give. I give 100%, but at that time, when that time cuts off, I cut off, and then we go for a walk.
So what one thing would you say to women who are going through, who have gone through, what one thing would you say to them to help them to overcome?
The one thing I would say to them is trust yourself. And the reason why I say trust yourself is because you're going to hear so many stories from other women that have gone through what they've gone through. Everyone has a different journey. You're going to hear a story from the doctor and telling you what you need to do, that type of thing. The reason why I say trust yourself is because the Creator gives you these tools to follow. And in doing so, He gives you that trust within yourself to know that whatever it is that you're doing the right thing. So the example I will give is, if He says, listen, conventional medicine is good, you can use that, but also you could use this. You can do this. You don't have to just stick with the script. You don't have to stick with the script. Okay, you have to take this tamoxifen. You have to take the Red Devil, and you got to do it 5 times. You got to do if they give you the 5-year pills of all of these pills that you have to take for 5 years so that they can monitor you. Trust yourself. If you don't want to take the pills that they tell you, you don't have to do it. Trust yourself. Do the right thing in terms of, just making sure you eat right, you're walking, de-stress, and enjoy life. Enjoy life.
That sounds like, to me, you're saying to women, you can control your own destiny with this cancer.
Absolutely. Cancer is the onset of cancer, or even just the word, is still a mindset. You still have to have a mindset of what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. So you control that. You can control if, I remember there were times that I had to take a shot for my white blood cells. And in that shot, what it would do is make my body have tremors. And it was hard for me to just walk. So my husband would have to carry me. But I would, in my mind, say, okay, I don't have time for this. Get up, because he's downstairs cooking or whatever. Get up and take your time. You might fall, but you're going to have to get up or crawl to that bathroom, because you got to get to the bathroom. And it was the mindset that I had to put into play so that I can get to the next level. Or if I was in pain, or even if I was throwing up, that I would say, okay, I threw up, that's it. In 2 hours, I want to make sure I drink a little bit of water, or take some tea, or whatever it is, broth, or whatever it is that I need to take. So that way I can get to the next level. Even when, like I said, the second time it was much more brutal. So I couldn't walk. And because I couldn't walk, I said, okay, well, I know that exercise is important in terms of for me to have longevity. So my mom bought me a treadmill during my second stint. And because I was really literally deteriorating, but every day after she bought it, I got on the treadmill for 5 minutes. 2 minutes the first week. The second week, it was 5 minutes. The third week, it was 7 minutes. So I did increments until I built up to 30 minutes. But it was my mindset that pushed me to the next level. I wasn't thinking about throwing up. I wasn't thinking about body tremors. I wasn't thinking about anything other than moving along.
So what you just described to me was I survived it, but now I'm going to thrive.
Exactly.
And that's the thriving piece for you.
That's the thriving piece. Exactly. So I truly live in the thrive.
Well, Phyllis, thank you so much for sharing your cancer journey with us. We do appreciate it. And there's one thing I always like to say, because that your private pain has a public purpose.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you so much.
Beyond Bridge, a place of strength, support, and shared stories. If the conversation touched your heart, be sure to share it with someone walking this journey. And always remember, you are not alone. God walks with you, even in the valleys. Lean on His promises, trust His timing, and never lose hope. Until next time, may you be covered in grace, filled with courage, and surrounded by love. I am Jacqueline Anthony. For all of us at Bridge, thanks for joining the conversation.